us for yet another webinar from iGaming Africa. And today we are having a discussion on bonuses, especially bonuses that work for the African player. And we are joined with our very lovely friends, one from Nigeria and one from Kenya, Felix Mlandi and Olubi Michaels. We apologize for the delay in starting today's webinar, but of course, sometimes we have technical challenges. So I will allow my speakers to introduce themselves.
All right, so let me start. So my name is Felix Mulandi. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, and basically been in the gaming industry for a while now, close to 8 years, and looking forward to the discussion and insights from my fellow panelists. So let's go.
Okay, my name is Olubi Williams. I'm the affiliate manager for Mega Party, and I've been around for over 7 years now in the gaming industry. I'm trained in the UK, in Spain, and pretty much in Africa. Today will be a very insightful day, and I'm looking forward to having a very good discussion with everyone. And that's it about me, pretty much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olubi. We try to see if our speaker, David, is now connected. He was having some technical hitches. David, if you can hear me. I think we are still not able to get David. Can you see if your microphone is muted, David? Okay. So we will proceed as we wait for David to fix his system. So today we were going to have a conversation around bonuses, especially bonuses that work and those that don't.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. David, can you check if your microphone is working now? No, we can't hear you. Your microphone is off. Can you hear me?
Let me know. Let me know if you can now hear me. Sorry for that technical hit.
Yes, loud and clear. We can hear you.
I think you are muted.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Uh, yeah, I think now I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, perfect. Sorry for that. I think usually with these technical challenges, it's very difficult to do things online. But so I think we will have to go straight to the first question. But before that, I would like to know if David is back with us. David, can you try to speak up? Unfortunately not. So let's go to the first question, and we are trying to understand how bonuses that you think work or those ones that don't work on the African continent. Felix, can you paint us a picture of bonuses that you think are based on this subject we are discussing today that you think can work or those ones that cannot work on the African continent?
All right. So basically, in a nutshell, and also to provide like more of an overview, right now most players are well versed with the bonuses and the practices when it comes to leashing them out to punters. So, like for instance, in Kenya or within the major brands, we're looking at bonuses whereby we have the pool betting, the kind of jackpots whereby users are credited bonuses at the end of each like leg. So this is more of a retention strategy whereby each and every week or after that particular pool has ended, we have those users that have the near misses. Like if the games are, let's say, 10 games and someone gets 9 out of 10, instead of walking away, is given more of a consolation, like a prize up on the pool, that specific pool. So it's usually like a percentage that is in-house at the brand's discretion. So that is something that has, for me, stood out over the years and will also keep on playing a bigger part when it comes to bonuses within the industry. So that's for the more established players within various regions. But then now we have, when it comes to acquisition strategies, we have the first deposit bonus. For me, again, is really key in terms of uh, acquiring customers and making sure that they get straight into it from onset. So we also have the registration bonus, whereby when users come on board and like create an account, they are given, upon creating the account, they are given a free bet or which is more of a bonus. But then this has been converted into a bet that is specific to a match. Like for instance, the brand picks a specific game that has like 30% on each prediction going right. So like no one knows who will be the outright, what will be the outright outcome of that particular match. And like on three-way, they will be able to give free bet on that particular match. So those are the most three common bonus practices that have been able to like spur brands to the next level. So that's it. And then now when it comes to uh, each and every week pushing deposits, and you'll find that other brands will be able to like cater the deposit charge on behalf of the customers. Like for instance, when customers make a deposit, uh, it's free. When they make a withdrawal, it's free. So brands that are doing this are really making a killing for me, just from an introductory perspective, those are the key bonuses that we are looking at, and we'll keep the conversation going as we go. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that brief introduction. And I would like Olubi to help us compare between the different bonuses that exist, especially on this side of the globe. On screen, I have a display showing no deposit bonuses, for example, 100% deposit bonuses, accumulator bonuses, referral bonuses. These are some of the bonuses that you will find common with most of the operators, especially when they are coming into the market. Olubi, can you help us understand if these bonuses are valuable to these operators or there are any other bonuses that they can look at?
Okay, thank you very much. So for me, in the African space, especially Nigeria, for example, there's a lot of options for brands to pick from, right? But a lot of times, I want to dive a little bit into the genesis of bonuses and and how it's applicable to the African market, because I think that's the essence of this conversation. So to look at the genesis of bonuses, I mean, betting has started long time ago in Europe, and then they brought the idea into Africa. But the question is those things working, right? 100%, no bonus, no this, no that. For me, I want to talk from the angle of localization of the product. Now, when you localize the bonuses that you're offering, it kind of give the people some kind of level of sense of belonging, and that sense of belonging helps them to connect with the brands, because at the end of the day, we're coming in to make money. We're not coming to joke, right? So, and for me, I would advise any sports bets that is coming into the African space to think local, right? Look for what can work within the environment that you're operating. And that way is going to help a lot, right? So for me, most players that are like I want to talk specifically for Nigeria, for example. We have over 200 million people and predominantly youths, and maybe about 79%, 70% are youth. And there's a high level of poverty in the country too, and also there's literacy level is still very low. So that in that situation, a lot of people wants to you know make something out of it. They want to find a way to grab anything that they see that gives them some kind of hope that they can actually make money. So I think it's a very good strategy for some of these betting companies. But in real practical comparison, for example, you look at BetKing. BetKing, for example, will do a free bet for you and tell you that you just have to register and put your name, your details, and that's it. And then you can start betting. So, well, they're making it easy for a lot of people to bet. Ella Bet, for example, will give you the option of 150% bonus as at the time of registration. But there's always a cap to all of this. For example, they will tell you that you need to deposit some amount of money, maybe $10. I mean, let me use the money that costs across everybody, like $10 in deposits, then for you to be able to, you know, have access to these bonuses, right? So we have local brands, like in Nigeria, for example, we have Naira Bet, Bet Niger, and we have, a whole lot of them that are basically local, Bet Bonanza, for example. So all of these brands, what the strategy they are also keen into is, the foreign strategy of bonuses, right? For me, uh, as an affiliate manager who I've been in, I've been the affiliate manager for Africa for a little time, I would be specific that all of those bonuses really do not work. And what works is what is local. So I think brands should think local. Brands should think of better strategies of having a way to, make it, a little different and, customize it to the African kind of bonuses. That way, we can all be on the same page. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for that introduction that you have given us, and especially coming from a perspective of an affiliate manager. I know you would have to look at bonuses from a different angle, because brands that depend mostly on affiliates are more lenient into getting traffic that is more of organic, but kind of a situation whereby it's kind of referrals, you see. But bonuses, it's a company that is targeting individuals directly through an incentive, and that one is kind of different, a different strategy from what affiliate companies or companies that target traffic through affiliates use. But then I would pose this question to you, Olubi. Uh, uh, you mentioned about the 100% deposit bonus, and you've given us some examples of companies that are applying this kind of technique or bonus strategy. Do you think that this one can be helpful in even the brand attracting more affiliates? Because before an affiliate decides to promote your product, they'll have to look at what kind of incentives you have on your platform, and this will make their work easier in attracting players. For platforms like the company you represent, which strategy do you think they can use to get better bonuses that can even reflect to them getting better affiliates and even more affiliates?
Okay, so on the basis of affiliates, I would be specific. There's nothing like affiliates don't care about your bonuses or whatever you have on your platform. It's a waste of time. So what they care about is what you're offering them in terms of what they would benefit from you. So affiliate don't care about what you have, whether you have bonuses or you have 100% bonuses. Now all of these bonuses are focused only on the players, not to affiliates, right? So, for example, especially African affiliates, they are one of the most difficult people to deal with. So, when you're dealing with them, you need to be very careful and you need to be very strategic. Now, being careful that I meant is that they already have their players and they see it as business, right? And for you that are coming to them as a brand, you also see it as business. So it's business. But they wants to, most of the affiliates in Africa wants to overshadow your own type of business. So because they want to put their own interest first. For example, if you go to an affiliate and say, hey, I want you to promote a mega party for me, they're asking you to pay them money. And, it's kind of strange that why do I have to pay you before you work? You should work before you pay. But they see it as a different thing because they feel that they own their own territory to themselves. So whatever deals you're offering them is what matters. Now, what they do in that situation is that they just push your brand to the players. Now, let's be realistic. The people that actually faces the eats more is the players, not really the athletes, because the athletes probably gets a fixed deal from the brands, and once he gets the money, he doesn't care about whatever happens. The only thing he's focusing on is just making sure that he's pushing your brand on his own platform, and that's it. So for where I work for my brand, for example, we've encouraged up to 150%, in bonus for sports, and up to 1,500 dollar euros for casino, and 150 free spin, right? But how effective has that been? We don't have the data to support that. So I will not come to this platform and say, oh, it's been effective or it's not been effective, because there's no data that says that these things is really working. But the data that I have, and which is, that cuts across everybody, it's the data of the athlete, how they've been able to promote the brands, and they are only promoting the brand. They don't care about what the brand is offering because they care about what they get, and that's it.
Yeah, that's a good introduction. And now I think I'll have to bring back our brother Felix to this conversation so that he can help us understand the dangers of implementing some bonuses. because as Olubi clearly shows us, is that of course there are some strategies that can work for the operator, and there are some that cannot work, especially when it comes to bonuses. So, Felix, do you think that there are some better ways of doing it so that you can push away bonus abusers? Because this is an issue, especially with bonuses. And I know this is rampant in Africa. Nigeria, Kenya. I've dealt with this when I was a marketing manager sometimes back. You implement a bonus today, and then tomorrow you have so many people signing up, but when you try to addresses these registrations came from, you find that there are so many similar devices signing up multiple accounts just to take advantage of the bonuses. So can you tell us what you think about this and some remedies to counter these actions?
All right, great. So good question. So first of all, like Michael has said, the most important thing is number one, we need to like localize the bonuses. I know certain platforms and may come from other regions, and when it comes to Africa, they push like the bonuses straight up without localizing them. Sometimes the way the platforms are made, it's not as easy as it may look to localize the bonuses that we do acknowledge. However, it's always good on the side to have uh, bonuses that have been localized. However, on a nutshell, now the risks, of course, each brand has certain the risk department that usually handles the bonus abusers or any kind of dangers that comes within a bonus. And before a bonus is rolled out, the bonuses have already been tested in-house, and once this has been approved, that's when the bonus is rolled out. And of course, with the bonus abusers, you can be able to look at the patterns and see like people betting on certain markets, like totals, using similar timelines, and maybe on a specific match. So the risk department usually handles that. And in most brands, most of these accounts are actually flagged out and foreclosure, or alternatively, they get a negative balance on their account, so that whenever they come on board and make another deposit, that amount is deducted. So that's definitely the danger that comes on board with the bonuses. As much as you may be out there as a brand going out to acquire new users, there's the risk aspect of it, and each brand needs to be prepared for that. But then I think right now, with technology and technological advancements, we are at a stage whereby like even the risk department is well versed and well equipped to handle such. Not like a few years back when we, like you've mentioned, Jeremiah, you'll find that whenever you roll out a bonus, people come on board and create a lot of accounts. Like even right now, before you create an account, you have to like key in like the capture whereby you are not a robot and all that. So all these are technological advancements that are there, and I believe with time it will only get better. But of course, we always have to be on top of our toes just to make sure that you don't get hit. So yeah, that's two sides of the coin for both. The risk aspect of it involved, definitely. Sure.
Yeah, thank you for that. So it's now up to the operators to ensure that the security measures they have put in place are going to work to their advantage, because sometimes these guys can be cheeky, and it can be actually very easy for a brand to lose money if they are not very serious about it. Because can you imagine somebody creating 100 accounts when you are asleep? And if your system is not bulletproof, then you can wake up in the morning and find that they have done quite a huge number of withdrawals as a result of your weak bonus system. So it's up to now the brands to ensure that the security teams are able to detect whenever this is happening. So
Sure.
I will
Also,
again try to see. Yeah,
I will
David,
also like, sorry
Felix.
for interjecting. So I'll also like to add. So that's another risk that I think may have even more harm to a certain brand, is whenever brands come on board and introduce certain bonuses and they don't perform or conduct a good market research and roll out a bonus without having proper customer education, and now users uptake a certain bonus that has certain measures whereby they didn't even understand. Like, that specific bonus has certain rollout terms, like they need to place or make wagers on specific events using specific odds. Again, now it's all about having proper communication channels. Like right now, social media is like the main tool when it comes to communication. Before rolling out a bonus, make sure that you can even pin it on top of the specific channels that you're using to communicate, and make sure that the terms of the specific bonus are well outlined. Also train the customer care, or you also equip them with knowledge and make sure that they're on top of their game. Whenever they get inquiries, they're able to to counter that. So again, because what will happen is I'll come on board because I've seen, as a customer, I'll come on board because I've seen a specific bonus that interests me and has pulled me to that specific brand. However, upon registering, I've made a deposit, my money has been locked, I'm not able to withdraw. And then so what I'll do is definitely within the first 3 to 6 months, you'll see a lot of activity. But then users are actually participating because they want to roll over their first deposit that they made. And then after rolling over or finishing their account balance, there won't be no deposit or repeat deposit. So that's another risk in terms of you also risk losing out on your acquired customers if you don't have good market research or do proper education on the specific bonuses and just spell out the terms well. Yeah.
Yeah, good point you have brought there is about market research and education, not just educating the support team, but as well, I would think that it will be perfect for you to also train the customers. And actually, I would think that the best way to introduce some of these bonuses is to first of all do a test campaign with a few players. You can get like 100 players, you sample 100 players and have them to kind of play around with the bonus that you are having, and then they are going to give you their views. And of course, in statistics, they say that if you sample from a market of 1,000 people using 100 people, then the result should mean that at least you are 90% sure that this reflects what the market out there believes about this product. So I will try to see if David is back with us, and then we can ask him to expound on the point of market research and education. How can this be done well to ensure that products that are presented to the market in terms of bonuses are not going to hit the company on the negative side, but they are going to be beneficial. I just gave my own view of the same, but I know David can have an addition to that. David, we cannot hear you. Okay. I think David today is having a bad day with his device, but then I think I'll pose the same question to Olubi so that he can add something.
Oh yeah, so you already hit the nail on the head. In terms of market research, it's very important to do like a sample opinion and then see how you can implement that. But in my own observation, as someone who has been around for a while, I see that most of the brands do not do any research. They only ride on the existing protocol, and that's what they do. Oh, let's give 100% bonus because every other person is giving 100%. Or they do more of a competition whereby there is I'm looking for a way to outplay or outsmart or send this one out of the market. For example, they can go as high as giving 200% bonus. Like one bet did in Nigeria was at some point one bet is giving 300% bonus. I mean, that's crazy. It's like whatever you put, you get 300%. So it makes a lot of people to kind of have one as their account. But the abusers will continue to abuse the system, and I mean, there's nothing you can do about that because for anybody that is losing money, you also look for a way to find a way to cheat the system, and that is pretty much very predominant in the African space. But then, so it depends on what is existing, and that's what the sport books are leveraging on. So they don't really come up with, oh, this is going to work. So, like I keep saying, they need to find a strategy to localize some of these bonuses. I am not going to be in support. If I have to be in charge of any brand that is coming into Africa, for example, some of my advices would be that we need to localize our bonuses. So that way we can mitigate some of the risk that are associated to um, abusers that are going to come on the platform. Because we already know that, okay, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say it's December, okay, and in Africa people like goats, okay, and then we just give like, okay, we're gonna have two goats or three goats or something like that. I'm just I'm just looking for something that kind of show localization. Now that is something that resonates in the minds of an average African or an average Nigerian, an average Kenyan. I don't know what's, but in Nigeria, yes, you know. So that one can be used as a bait, and then you can use that to bring more people. So it connects with the local people that are going to be using the local currency, are going to be having interaction with your platform locally, and so it gives them, some high level of sense of belonging, right? I mean, you cannot go as far as saying, "Oh, you're going to win an airplane," because I know there was a promotion sometimes with MTN, and they said, "Oh, when you recharge and then you get a plane." That doesn't make sense. I don't know where they got that from, but something that it is the local people can connect with, and then you don't, like, for example, this goats that I mentioned, for example, is something that you don't have to start doing any research or doing any marketing promotion for you to because everybody knows what, and it's they kind of get like, oh, it's December, this is what we want, this is but right now I checked through all the platform, none is even doing anything that has to do with end of the year promotion in terms of bonuses, in terms of getting new players and all of that. So most of them are just focusing on the affiliate part and not on the part of the players because they just want to have they just want to get money and they don't really care about and then when you talk about the education part, it's also very important that we try to you know sensitize the people to let them know that there is a restriction. There's an age restriction of who can bet, who cannot bet, something like that. But that, yeah, I know some few countries that are doing something around that. I mean, Nigeria is doing a lot of things around that just to, put the information out there. And they're doing that by doing a very serious KYC after you put in your money, you deposit, you want to withdraw, you have to do KYC. So that way they can easily know that you are above that age and all of that. So these are some of the things that still need a lot of work. And lastly, Africa is, I keep giving examples when I go to meetings that, when you go to America, there's what they call American spec, right? When you go to Europe, there's European spec, maybe Asian spec, but there's nothing like African spec. So that is something that a lot of these big bookies are leveraging on. That okay, Africa is just free, so we can actually come and do whatever we want to do. Okay, but my own is that if you're coming with the European idea of bonuses of $100, of $200, that is not going to work in Africa. You're only just putting your platform there, just like every other person. But if you want to put your platform and you want to make a difference, then think local. Thank you.
I like the example you gave with a goat because it's another very popular Christmas gift in this side of the continent. And I know
Maybe they have not yet started doing Christmas promotions, but this is something that we should see. We should see more goats flying in the air. So,
So also,
and yes,
sorry,
yes.
also to add on that and also echo what Michael just said. So I think uh, localization in terms of giving out prizes is good, but then I think this is more of a seasonal bonus in that we'll have it maybe over the Easter period, over the Christmas period, and whenever you have specific holidays in specific countries. But then now, in generally, when it comes to like on a day-to-day basis, because remember brands are pushing acquisition or retention each and every day. So as much as like in Kenya, we have specific brands who will definitely tell you that you will win maybe like a goat, but then now they will convert that goat to, they'll have the goat on their creatives or maybe even if it's a hen or a plate of food, but then now they'll convert it because again, users really are really looking to win, and that one of the motivation whereby users come to play on certain brands is just to win money again at the end of the day. So they will convert that price. Maybe if it's a gold, they'll give it like $50 and put that amount in a user's account so that when they can withdraw and maybe now purchase whatever they want. But then now for the marketing gimmick behind it, because right now it's the season of giving, season of sharing, having around family, eating, they put or they use certain images of, like we've mentioned, the goat on the creative. So it's more of a marketing gimmick. But then at the end of the day, what is credited to your account is real money. Yeah.
Thanks for that. So, just a reminder to our audience that you can ask our panelists any question regarding this topic. You can also leave a comment so that we can know that we are together in this conversation. And a reminder that this session is sponsored by LogiFuture, a market leader in 360-degree B2B solutions for iGaming operators. So I will again refer to the subject we are discussing today, that is bonuses that work and those that don't work in the African continent. Of course, this is the subject today. And there is something I've come across previously, an issue actually, whereby I encountered a customer case whereby they did not read the terms or the bonus terms before they subscribed to that bonus. And when we looked deep into that, we found out that there were some rollover requirements whereby the customer was required to wager that amount at least 20 times. But now it seems that this customer didn't know the meaning of rolling over a bonus. And there were some odd requirements, so they had passed the odd requirements, but they didn't know that they were supposed to roll over this bonus several times. And I'm going to connect this with what Olubi says about customization of bonuses, because I know this is a strategy that has worked well in Europe, but this continent is very, very different. So, Lubi, can you try to paint us a picture of what you think about duplication of bonuses that have worked in let's say Europe, and that is exactly duplicated the same way it is in Africa without doing any research? What do you think about this? Is it a danger sign, or is something that can be played around with to work with operators in Africa?
Okay, thank you very much. So, like I said, it's whatever bonuses that have been implemented in Europe, they bring it directly to Africa. Why? Because they do not have like control. And when I mean control, I mean the kind of um, marketing officers or like directors or somebody that will be able to navigate them through the process of understanding how they need to approach things very differently when they come to Africa. So for me, I see it as a replica. They do it in Europe and they bring it exactly to Africa. So nothing changes. So, but there are intricacies. There are things that are embedded in those bonuses that they bring just the exact duplicates and they just implement it here. So that is where I like your question when you talk about education, right? Because these people are not educated to understand that when I deposit $100 and then I get $300 in first deposit, but before I can get access to that my money, I need to have waged 5 times, and I need to have waged those 5 times and possibly waged the total amount in my account. So in quotes, there is $100 which I have put into the account, which is the real money. The $200 is virtual money. That money doesn't technically exist anywhere, right? But they create the impression that you have it, but you do not have that money. So, but for me, I don't want to go into all of this, how all of this plays out, with the betting companies and all of that, because I have an idea of, I mean, that's what I do with most of my affiliate, explaining to them how the bonus works, how the first time deposits, how they can get their commission and all of that. So these are technical stuff that I don't really want to go into. But it's also very important that the brands should put it in their privacy policy as to what the players would get when they activate this process. So when there is no clarity on that, everybody just sees that, oh, I now have $300. To what end? What do you have to do to double that money to your own benefit? For example, I remember the first time, the years was a long time ago. I made a first deposit on one. I don't want to mention the brands. So I made a first deposit. So they gave me the impression I'm getting 100%, right? So I got the 100%. I waged once. Like I think the wager was Man U, Arsenal. It was a very tough match that I knew that this is going to be the winner, for example. So and I won. But when I wanted to take the money, it's impossible, right? So that was the time I began to have more interest in sport. I think about 11 years ago, thereabout. So that really, gave me that, like, why can't I withdraw my money? Then I had to go into call the customer service. Look, I want this money. And they said, no, you cannot get the money because you have to wait 4 times. Now, waging 4 times, and then the odds has to be a certain odds, because the money you claim you had and then you used is really not your money. And, so these are where the problem is. So sometimes I could say that the danger of all of these things is maybe some brands should not just do anything like that. Allow people to bet, and when they win, look for a way to compensate them. That could be a good strategy, which is localized. So when you put your $100, that's it. I'm using dollars because it's a universal currency. You put your $100, and then you use your $100 to wage. If you win, you win the money. If you lose the money. And then if the company or the brand is looking for a way to compensate you, they can now come from the angle of bonuses. In that way, they've been able to do what they call mind share in marketing. They will now make the players to feel more entitled. Like, look, you didn't deserve this. We are giving you this. Now, this is what we are giving. So that could be another form of localized, bonuses, something different from what has already been done in Europe. And then, like I said, like you rightly said about education, here, the level of literacy is still very low. So you cannot compare, the way they operate in Europe here. And what is applicable there doesn't apply here. So, these are ways that things can be adjusted, either ways, left or right.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I think you've touched on very key points today. And I see you are relying more on customization. So this must be a very key thing that operators must look at. And now let's look at retail, for example, and casinos. And actually, I guess there is a question that has been posted here by Zorea Asado, and he asked that, do bonuses really work in betting shops? And if yes, then how do you tackle bonus hunters in the retail environment? Do you Felix, do you have anything you would tell our brother Zore.
Yeah, sure. So definitely. So for right now, in Kenya, most retail brands are not doing that well. But however, there's still space for growth, and I can majorly attribute it to the growth of online gambling, and even looking at the most casinos have also gone online. However, when it comes to retail, there is that space, and whereby it's all about looking at the specific products that you have at the retail shop and looking at which one is a big sell, and that is the product that you need now to like look at it, have emphasis, put emphasis on it, and come up with bonuses. Like for instance, you can give out free spins, you can give out free races, depending on, maybe you can tell someone to create an account, you'll give him 2 free races, such kind of bonuses. It's all about personalization based on the products that users are well versed with or well are playing the most. And then also when it comes to bonus, like the hunters, like I said, it's having the risk aspect of it, because I do understand in the retail shop this might be a little bit difficult to hunt to look at the hunter, the bonus hunters. However, the good thing with retail is for you to participate or to buy a ticket, you definitely have to maybe like have money. So you can always tie it to, like for instance, say if whenever you play like or use a specific amount, you get a free races or free spin. So that's how I look at it, just to make sure that the brand also survives. And again, the good thing with retail, the brand has capability to control behind the scenes. So yeah, it's always a win. It's always a win for retail.
Yeah, maybe something I can add to that, because sometimes in my career I also had an experience with a retail company, and sometimes we used to implement manual bonuses, and this especially helps with getting that one-on-one touch with the customer, and you get instant feedback from them, where you just tell them that if today there is a big game, then you tell them that if you place a bet on this game, we are going to give you this free credit. So this is kind of different from a player who is interacting with you online, because they might not have a chance to give you some feedback. But when you do it at the retail level or in casinos, then it would work for you in that way. And this can also be applied in casinos, whereby you can give manual, you can have kind of manual bonuses on certain days. When those customers walk in, you have your write up on the wall that if today you play with this amount, you can be able to get this amount back in credits. But also another point that is coming out very strongly from this conversation is that bonuses can also be dangerous, and they can not just being dangerous in the sense that they cannot help you to make money, or there can be bonus abusers. But I think sometimes if implemented the wrong way, they can scare away customers. So I would like Olubi to tell us now how you think bonuses can push away customers from your brand. Now looking at this from that angle, like if you have a certain bonus and you have not explained the terms properly to the customers, and they come and play and find out that there is something that they didn't know about it, and this was hidden under the terms and condition, how can brands avoid such mistakes?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So I want to try to dig a little bit deep into Asado's question. You said, do bonuses really work in betting shop? No, it does not work in betting shops, right? Bonuses don't work. Now, and this is it. For you to do a retail, to have a retail outlet, it means that you're registered in that country, and then you can have your local shops everywhere, right? So now, what some brands are doing, like One S Bet, like Bet Ninja, Bet King, Premier Bet, what they do is they don't activate bonuses in betting shops, because at the end of the day, the owner of the shops claims all the money. So which doesn't make sense. And they want the money to go directly to their players. Right. So because there's a problem with an intermediary, it's not a direct business. There's somebody who will now, bring the players. So what they do is they do what they call jackpots. So once the jackpot drops on that system, whoever purchased that ticket for the jackpot gets the money. But at the end of the day, if that person has thrown away his ticket within because a lot of people lose money in the betting shop, and he threw away the ticket, at the end of the day, the money will be claimed by the owner of the shop. So these are problems that we're also having conversation around to see how this can be mitigated. So a lot of people are now having betting shops, and they are bringing players into the betting shop, believing that they could one day get a jackpot. Who sometimes jackpot drops twice a day, once a week, and if there is no player who can come and say, hey, this is my jackpot ticket, this ticket belongs to me, then the owner of the shop will end up claiming the money, and then we lose. That's a loss for for the company, because it's a marketing strategy, right? So which would encourage a lot of people to come into the retail shop. Now, when bonuses are not, when you don't give the right information to your players because of the literacy level, nobody has all the time to read. Do a simple bonus. That is my advice for brands. Just do something very simple. I'm giving you extra 1, 2, 3 on top of this. No condition. It's your money. Do whatever you want to do. Whether they win with it, they lose with it, it belongs to them. So that way, you have greatly moved away from what is applicable in other, developed countries, and you're bringing it into Africa using a different strategy to achieve, the purpose that is more localized to these people. So, for example, if tomorrow somebody from Europe now wants to look into the model of how you were able to win the heart of these people locally, then they need to begin to study the strategy that you've used, right? So, but of course, when those things are a replica of what is in Europe and you bring it to Africa, to me, I see it as danger. I see it as, because when the players, for me, I'm talking from experience, the day I could not withdraw my money, that was the last time I actually used the betting platform. I never used it again. So, because I knew that this is not working for me. You do not give me X impression and I get Y impression. It has to be XX. So this is apple to apple, not apple to oranges. It has to match. So what you're doing in Europe and you're bringing it to Africa is not going to match, regardless of however you want to do it. You have to look for what will match with the African market. And again, for brands that are trying to get into the African market, think local, think of retail. Retail is the bomber. Retail is like, it's going to blow you out there. You're going to have whatever you need, because retail is where everybody feels they are connected to somebody. You cannot go online and say, hey, yeah, people do online, educated people, yes. But what are their numbers in terms of percentage? In people that are not so educated, what are their numbers in terms of percentage? Who plays with money more? Is it the rich or the poor? You see, so when you look at all that, retail is really a way to go.
Yeah, a good point there. And, there is something I did some simple research on brands that are entering the market. And I realized that some brands are not even coming into the market with any bonuses. And the funny thing is that some of those brands have made it big in the market. Can you imagine a company with zero bonuses but a good platform? And the customers can deposit well, they can deposit easily, they can withdraw easily. The platform has a good user interface. They don't have any issues. Customer support is available 24/7. That is something that will keep that customer coming back for more, even though those companies don't have bonuses. And it's just that I don't want to mention names, but there are some companies that I know that have done that, and they are now very, very successful. So, Felix, do you think you have anything you can add to that? And we request our panel, our followers to send in their questions and any comments that they may have. We will just extend for some few minutes because we had a technical hitch at the beginning of this webinar. So, Felix, do you think that you have anything you can add to the point I just made?
Yeah, just to echo your words. For me, I think like customer experience is the best bonus. Going with the topic for today, bonus that you can give a user. The kind of experience from onset, whenever a user comes on board and registers, starting even from the registration form, how tedious is it? So up to the deposit. So just look at the user journey, simplify it, make it as simple as possible, so that whenever a user interacts with the platform, whenever they get maybe any pain points, that can how quick can the pain points be resolved, and also ask for their feedback. Have Google Forms, send out them to them so that at least they can fill out and give out their opinion about the brand. Keep seeking like opinion from users, and from there you'll be able to get insights, and the brand will be able to grow. And like also talking about localization, you may come with like into Africa with a specific product because it did well. Maybe it's not tailor-made for the mobile or for the feature phone that most users are using in Africa, across Africa. So that is again the biggest bonus that you can give your users. However, for retention purposes, and it's always good to always give out like something small. Like even like we have had the question for land-based operations, that's retail shops and casinos. So even when we go to the casino, we find out that we have free drinks, we have a free lunch, free food. So all these are strategies to making sure that users coming on board are more comfortable. And because again, we all want everyone getting into the gaming space is getting there to get entertained as much as they want to win money. They want to feel the thrill. So always make sure that a brand should always make sure that they have all these well structured, and they'll see the longevity of it. So that's my input.
Perfect, perfect. Now, I want us to, as we come closer to the end of the webinar, I would like us to look at the different popular bonuses that are existing in the market, and you will give me your view, like which is your best bonuses among those ones. So I'll start with no deposit bonus. I think this is one of the most dangerous one. But usually some brands prefer to have that one, especially when they're entering the market for the first time. And this can be a bonus that can be utilized within a period of 1 week, and you will have made it big. So that one is the first one, no deposit bonus. Then we have the accumulator bonus, and this is mostly very popular on sports books. And then we have the 100% deposit bonus, a bonus that usually comes with so many terms and tends to confuse so many players, especially when it comes to the terms that are tied to it. And lastly, we have the referral bonus. So that is kind of similar to the refer a friend bonus. And let's just look at these four bonuses. And if you have any other bonus that you've seen, you can highlight and tell us what you think about it. So let's start with Olubi, and then we come to Felix.
Okay, so like you have rightly said earlier on, that it's not about the bonuses, right? It's about the customer service experience, which is very important. So when you focus on bonus, yes, in a way it can be, an added advantage. But for me, I think I'll go for the no deposit bonus. I mean, if you listen to me carefully, you would have seen that I'm on the opinion that bonuses do not work for the African market. If it is not localized, if it is not customized, if it does not have a tone that resonates with the people, then it's not working for me. And that I talk from experience. And I'm just one out of other people because experience, they say, is the best teacher, right? So for me, no deposit, no bonus, it's makes sense because you know that whatever you're putting there, you're getting it. Also, when you're going to implement bonus like the 100% bonus, let it be 100%. Those conditions attached to it, no players have all the time to read it, except people like you and me, who can now go into details as to, okay, what is going on behind the scene. But for an average players who just wanted to win money, who just bought his Android phone and installed the app and just wanted to find a way to make money, they do not care about all of those things. They just want to know that this is the money I'm putting in, this is the money I'm getting. Now, I have an experience with one player who came to me and said, "Oh, this brand you are promoting, what's the first time deposit?" I said it's 100%, right? So he said, "Oh, that's good." And then later he came back to me and said, "Oh, I put money and I have 200%. I want to withdraw. I can't withdraw. You can see that." Right? And I'm like, "How possible is that? You put $100, you got $200, and then you want to withdraw $200. How possible is that?" He said, "Yes, but it's my money. It's not your money. It never becomes your money until when you do something with that money." And these are conditions that are attached to it. So you look at all of these things, you see, it could be an overwhelming thing for an average person who is trying to just make money. All right. So that's the way I see it so for no deposit, it's fine. You know that whatever you put is what you get. And for the 100%, the brands should try and remove some of those clauses and make it as transparent as possible and as easy as possible for players to have access to their money, regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, well put it. Well put it. I think Felix, you can come in. But before Felix gives his views on the same, there is a comment that kind of supports what Olubi has just said. Matthew says that I'm happy Felix has been hammering on localization of bonuses and the product. It is also very important that the terms and conditions should be easy to understand to de-escalate bonus complaints. I know this is something that brands must that brands must do because I know in developed countries, players might have time to go and check the terms that are attached to these bonuses. And, these are countries that are very developed, even when it comes to gambling. People started gambling long time ago. So they know some of these rules even without checking the terms. But on this side of the globe, gambling is kind of not so new, but I would say new because we are not very mature in terms of gambling. So when you have some of these bonuses, it's very, very crucial that you have the terms being as easy as possible. And that's why I like the point that Matthew has put there. Felix, now you can come in with your view.
All right, so I think I'll just summarize. And for me, because Olubi has more of explained, and I do concur with him in terms of all the bonuses that he's talked about. So for me, just to simplify the discussion, I'll just look at the user journey. Like for instance, whenever a user comes on board, the first thing that he will do is register. So when it comes to registration, the no deposit bonus for me really works magic because but now this is specifically when it's tied to a free, like you are given like a free bet that is on a match that does not have a specific out, like 30% chance across the outcome. So that is a good tactic when it comes to acquiring users because they're getting the free bet. Alternatively, you can have a specific free bet or give them promo codes upon registration. So that's when it comes to registration. When it comes to deposit, for the very first time a user is making a deposit, it's good to have a deposit bonus. So that what this does is that it encourages them to make a deposit of a higher amount, because it's usually well structured into percentages depending on the deposit that you're making, and from there you'll be able to read the terms, which are should always be outlined on the website or pinned on the across the platform. So that's when it comes to the deposit, the very first time users are making a deposit. But then now to keep on encouraging deposits each and every day, like we have the daily deposits, so that users can keep on playing on the platform. Brands should come up with deposit, like catered for the charges. Like for instance, in our market right now, we have that whenever someone is making a deposit, there is the cost that they incur that can be credited back, but as a bonus, the company takes that as a marketing cost. So that will always, it can be for all deposits according to the muscle of the brand, or for the very first deposit of the day. So this will make sure that brands keep on, customers keep on coming back, because they know whenever I make a deposit on a certain brand, I'll be able to get back like a bonus. But then now for retention purposes, lastly, for retention purposes and making sure that users keep on playing each and every day. Now, this is the most critical bonuses, because this is what will really propel brands to the next level, in that you look at having accumulator bonuses, like you can go up to 1000. I've seen brands go up to 1000%. So this is well tiered. The percentages, you should have like a chart that is included on the website, or across. Users are well familiar with this. They know that if I place a multi bet of certain legs, I get like a boost from the brand of a certain percentage. So that's on the actual bet activity. But then now we can also go extra and do like bonuses on the lost games. Like you can say the very first bet of the day, or we'll choose randomly players who lose bets and maybe give them like a cashback. You give them weekly cashbacks, and this can also be done across both on sportsbook and on casino. Like after a week of placing bets, you can come on board and say, like, we'll be able to give like 8% cashback on all lost bets for active punters, and this can be credited on Monday morning, like a happy hour bonus, or such of sort. So I think looking it using, even now as brands come up with their bonuses, they should look at the user journey and come up with bonuses at each step, so that at least the brand is well structured. Yeah. So that's my input. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good input, Felix. And considering that you are from, you are kind of, let's say you're a good marketer, I know, and this has been always your field. There is a question here that is kind of we are trying to understand now as marketers, how can we apply some of these bonuses, or which are some of the strategies we can apply in pushing brands that come to us. I will try and have that question brought on screen. Yeah, that's the question. What do you think as marketers of Africa we should practice and consider for startups, betting companies to implement growth of the company? I'll give some clarity on that. I know marketers usually find it very difficult when they are trying, for example, to promote a very good brand, but there are no incentives for customers. Of course, this is what I talked about. There is a brand that has a very good platform. They have a good design. Their customer care support team is the best in the world, but they have no bonuses. So, and here is a marketer who wants to help this brand to grow. How can this marketer help this brand, or they just have to pull out and look for the next one? I think it's a very interesting question from Mercy. Thank you, Mercy, for that nice question. Felix.
All right. So, okay. So, like I said, when it comes to a market entry, you need to look at the costs. Like, what are the customer acquisition costs that the brand is willing to take in? Because remember, again, in marketing, there always has to be return on investment. But then now, depending on the market that you're venturing into, you also need to look at the market size, the market cap, and you'll be able, using this, you'll be able to come up with a strategy. Like from onset, first step is always to conduct market research. Look at what competitors are doing, what kind of bonuses did they have at their moment of inception, and which ones did they drop. Ask yourself, why did they drop these? And for me, like, right now, what's the biggest sell when users want to play on a brand that they see, that like everyone right now, I'll just mention it for the sake of it. Bet Power has been trending because of the win on the Aviator game. So I'm sure, even I don't have the data, but I'm sure because everyone saw that testimonial, everyone now maybe went and started, maybe participated on the game, Aviator game, just to mention. That's an example. So users want visibility, want to see like brands that are actually users come to participate on, you can and win, actually win. So that's a good marketing gimmick. Again, I'll say testimonials, have checks written for the winners, like have the weekly winners of this particular week, the big wins. And doesn't have to be like actual photographs, can be a creative with the, maybe how much did the user play with, how much legs did he was the accumulator, and how much was won. Can have the first name and second initial, the initial of the second name. So such kind of tactics. But then when it comes to bonuses, the no deposit bonus definitely works because there's no cost attached to it. It's on a game that you're sure, whenever someone wins, the amount that if, like, for instance, let me just explain, like, narrowly. If you're giving out a free bet of 50 shillings and someone, of 50 USD, and someone wins 100 USD, the 50 USD will be deducted from the winning. So there's no loss per se, because you're looking at that, you'll get it as a customer acquisition cost, and which is on the lower side, because users will be able to participate. And no, the good thing is everyone free things right now, and but you need to be limited in how you dish them out, so that at least you capture your risk aspect, so that at least you don't go down. So that's my input for that.
Yeah, thanks for that. We have around 7 minutes to go, so let's just go through the one additional comment here from, again, Zorea, and Zorea has a point that in some African countries, taxation becomes a challenge when brands try to apply accumulator bonuses on sports betting tickets. Again, this is a challenge for betting brands that are trying to implement bonuses. But of course, as we have seen from this discussion we are having today, is that there are different bonuses that can be utilized. If the accumulator bonus doesn't work for you, then I think another bonus can work for you. So I will ask Olubi to answer this next question, and then Felix can have, if you have any additional information to that question I've just posted on screen, you can, regarding taxation from Zorea, maybe you can paint us a picture on what other avenues brands can use in case some bonuses don't work for them or in their favor, in cases where we have some limitations. So, Olubi, you know, we have been, November was Responsible Gambling Month, and we had so many initiatives happening, so many activities happening around the globe surrounding responsible gambling. And you know, with bonuses, this is kind of free money, free gifts. So they might not necessarily be free, but can you imagine somebody getting something for free in case they deposit this kind of free money? So they push people to deposit. There are kind of factors that lead to people depositing and playing with brand. So this question now on screen is addressing that: how can we ensure responsible gambling while dishing out bonuses, especially remembering that November has been a responsible gambling month. What advice can you give on this question from our brother Matthew?
Thank you very much. So, just a cap to what you said, free money, there's no free money. Even in Freetown, nothing is free. It's just the virtual impression that the money is free. Yeah, to answer the question on African taxation, I need to know which, it needs to be specific on which of the countries it's referring to and how these countries, so that we can actually understand the depth of, because most of the brands, some of them are not registered in some of these countries, right? And then they have, a third party payment process to process their money for them. So, and then they're using pointers to pass across, there. So, but if you're registered locally in some of these countries, you have a license to operate in that country, then you should be subject to some kind of taxation. And in the taxation clause, there will be all of the all of this information will be included in it. So we cannot. I mean, this is a general question on taxation, and each country differs, and depending. And then I know that in African countries, some brands know how to find their way around taxation. So yeah, but then if you're doing an accumulator bonuses, and then you're going through the problem of taxation within that context, I think the brand should discontinue it and focus on the one that gives them more profit, because at the end of the day, you want to make money. So that's it. And for responsible gaming, uh, I believe that bonuses will encourage a lot of people to bet responsibly. But the reason why you're adding or giving people bonus is to make them bet, is to make them put their money. So when you're talking about, oh, I still want you to be responsible, then I think the brand has to do a lot of PR uh, to, like, a disclaimer to some of their, you know, adverts to those bonuses. Like if you check a lot of websites, at the bottom of it, you'll see responsible gaming. Like you have to be responsible regardless, right? So, and then in some European countries, they put a cap, because they are more developed and advanced, they put a cap to how much you can even bet based on your income. So there's a lot of things going on in the betting industry in the UK, in Europe generally, that a lot of these brands are not implementing in Africa because they don't care, right? And it's for them, it's free money. So, like I said before, there's a lot of brands that are operating within the African space that are not even licensed. So until we have, all of this information, then we can actually say, for example, this is it. So that's it.
Yes, so let me just go on and add. So, like in Kenya, we have the taxation issues going on. So for me, when it comes to accumulators bonuses that are not working, I think the easiest way to handle this will be just like as a bonus. You can cater like on behalf of the customers, like you pay the tax on their behalf. You can not necessarily, depending on the muscle of the brand. And in Kenya, we have seen certain brands doing it, and brands that are not even doing the taxation thing are really making it in terms of having good numbers for them, because again, the winning amount that you're credited is usually higher compared to the rest. So that can be, but it's not on a long term, because again, you need to look at your books and make sure that you have that muscle to do that on the long term. Like for me, I've always been an advocate of responsible gaming. We need to look at uh, like give out bonuses on a scale whereby we'll be able to monitor, and also, like for instance, from onset, from KYC, making sure that everyone registering on the brand is 18 plus, and always advocating, like always bet on what you can afford to lose. And yeah, those are things that on a day-to-day basis, even across social media platforms, brands should be able to even make posts on the same, so that at least they always advocate for that. So that's like right now, that's even in the talk for the coming years, responsible gaming. So looking forward to it. Sure.
Yeah, thanks for that. And just a reminder to our audience that this podcast has been sponsored by, this webinar has been sponsored by LogiFuture, one of the best companies in the world that can help you get a gambling platform for your company, or even some nice games that are tailored for the African market. And talking of responsible gambling, at iGaming Africa, we have a podcast that has just been released on responsible gambling with our brother from Gamble Alert in Nigeria, the director for Kaizen Gaming's Betano brand in Nigeria, Mr. Oyindamola Michaels. We had a very interesting podcast on responsible gambling, and you can find it on Spotify. So now, as we finish, I think when we started this podcast, we had a technical hitch, so we didn't have introductions. I will request that Felix, you can introduce yourself, and then Olubi, you can introduce yourself. It's a new way to end the year, maybe a reflection of how we are going to start the next year. And a reminder to everybody who is tuned in that we really appreciate your support throughout the year. This is episode 8 of the iGaming Africa webinars. And this being the last webinar of the year, I think I'll have the pleasure to say Merry Christmas to everybody who is joining us, and Happy New Year 2024. I hope I'm the first one who told you that. So, Felix, please.
Okay, so I'll just summarize. Again, my name is Felix Mulandi. I've been in the gaming industry close to 8 years now, and really loving the industry and how we're all folks and always helping each other whenever we can. And for me, this discussion has really been an eye opener for me, and also getting insights for Olubi, especially from Nigeria. And I know Nigeria and East Africa kind of differs a little bit, but then again, as as Africans as a whole, it's all about, like we've been saying, localization of products and of the bonuses. And again, just to summarize, like I know right now we always have to be thinking ahead and looking at the future trends. I also want to also, like, on summary, handle this topic in terms of looking at the future trends when it comes to bonuses. Like, we have to ask ourselves, in the coming years, what kind of bonuses will be there? And so with the kind of technological advancement that we have the crypto, we have the blockchains and all that kind of payments. It's all about, I think brands should start looking at how they can maybe bring this into play. We also have AI, and also make sure that they personalize bonuses. What I mean by personalization is each and every user coming to register on a platform necessarily does not want that specific bonus that is being given as a whole. Each user has specific preferences, so it's good, first of all, to understand. Maybe that you can have on the registration form, even if it's one or two questions that users get asked, and then upon answering that, taken to the right bonus that they want. I know certain brands have started doing that, in that you're able to pick which kind of bonus you want. Do you want the sport bonus, or do you want the casino bonus? But then I think that's an angle that can be looked at and developed further. And I believe with that we'll have advanced player gamification. And for me, really looking forward to 2024. And I also want to thank iGaming Africa for always inviting me to come and talk. And the future is really bright. And thank you to everyone, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you.
My name is Olubi Williams. I'm the affiliate manager. I've been around for over 7 years now, and it's been interesting The journey has been good. The experience has been very nice, and the in-depth analysis from today's conversation with Felix and Jeremiah has been awesome. It's a very good pleasure, having this conversation about bonuses and responsible gaming. And like I wanted to add the other time, that responsible gaming software is available in Europe and in America, but no brand will implement it in Africa because you know the implication of that, right? Because Africa has just started dealing with data, right? So for brands that are listening, we have a very good expert on the platform that can be consulted just in case you're looking at implementing some of the strategies on your platform and looking for people that are vast who understands the you know the market, and like Felix, like me, myself, and like Jeremiah, we already we're established and we know what it takes, right, to penetrate the market. So at the end of the year, we're all looking towards 2024. I think a lot of us are doing like a recap of our year, how it's been, the experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I want to wish everybody Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year in advance. And yeah, we'll catch up in 2024. And iGaming, you're doing a great job. It's been a very luxury having to come on this platform to share some very insightful topics and have conversation around it. I mean, I've been listening to iGaming for quite a time now, especially when you brought the ladies, and you really shared something very, very important. So that it's good, and we're hoping that we'll continue to support your brand and get you out there. And for longer food, I mean the sponsor, thank you. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Luby. Thank you, Felix. Just a note that this session was supposed to be moderated by David Ukairo, the Business Development Manager for Africa at Mondo Gaming SRL. But somehow he had some technical challenges, and we apologize for that. And I'm hopeful that we are going to have him next time. So thank you everybody who was also tuned in. We appreciate that you walked with us through the year, because this is episode 8. That means that iGaming Africa is very new, and we are happy that we have been making an impact on the continent's iGaming industry based on the feedback that we have been receiving from you. So I would like to just say thank you very much, and we hope that 2024 is going to be a good year for all of us. If you have any questions, please feel free to visit our YouTube or LinkedIn page. This session was live there, so you can drop your questions there under comments, and our moderators are going to be requested to come and answer your questions. So thank you very much. Thank you to Logi Future, the sponsor for this webinar. It has been a pleasure. See you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.